the good news is Craig Lowndes will start from position 6 on the grid in race 2 today.
That's great news. Thanks for the update, Red Bull Racing Australia and Craig Lowndes fans. And there's plenty of you out there who will be pleased to know that he's going to take his place in the second 125k race this afternoon. The V8 action continues. It's time now for the Dunlop Series cars. Remember that Paul Dumbrell is in the field again this weekend. Here is Aaron Noonan together with Warren Luff.
And Neil, good point you raised. We've got a couple of interesting names joining the Dunlop Series this weekend. Stephen Johnson's having a run to get ready for the Pertec Enduro Cup. Dean Fiore's back for another run. He's getting ready for the Enduros, but it's Cam Waters from Ford Performance Racing who's taken his second pole of the year. You've already had a decent day, second in Carrera Cup. There's a smile on your dial.
Yeah, look, we had a great run out there earlier today, but these guys are all geared up and ready to go. Obviously, they've just watched the main series guys carve each other up out there, so someone's got a bit of a drama out there on the grid.
That's Andrew Jones in one of 3 Brad Jones Racing cars. In fact, Brad's son Macaulay is making his V8 debut here this weekend. He's a bit further back on the grid in 19th, but there's a drama there for Andrew, who now is going to rejoin the road. This is all a little strange. So, due to have 2 races here this weekend, 29 laps for each of them. Another car not leaving the grid there. That was Jack LeBrock in the Silver Falcon. And the start's been aborted because of Andrew Jones pulling off out of the way. So clearly, when you're starting where he was 7th and your car's stalled and it won't start, you don't want to start the race and having, you know, about 23 cars ploughing down at a stationary car. We've seen what that looks like, and it's not good.
No, look, obviously safety is paramount in all these sorts of events, and especially on a street circuit where you don't have a lot of room on the rundown into that first corner. It's the safest thing to do. Give the guys another formation lap. It lets them sort of work on their tyre temp, get the brakes up to temperature, and really start to focus on the race ahead.
Cam Waters on pole there. He is the NZ Ford, but it's Ash Walsh who starts alongside on the front row of the grid. He's the points leader, 104 clear of Paul Dumbrell, who uniquely missed the second race in Perth because he had business commitments and flew back to Melbourne. None of his rivals knew until the day of the race, and they certainly got a free kick, and that's helped Ash Walsh build a margin, but it's been a pretty good title fight so far. Dumbrell starts from 3rd. Gary Jacobson, his teammate from the Eggleston team, he's had a best qualifying. He'll start from position 4, and then Chris Pither. But what we've got here, Warren, is a range of drivers getting ready for the Pertec Enduro Cup, doing a few races or doing the full season. But there's other guys trying to win the title. There's a bit of a mixture of everyone who's got a different aim here on the grid.
Yeah, look, absolutely. These guys are thinking enduro time. They want to get some more miles in. Obviously, Steve Johnson joins the grid this weekend. And then you've also got a lot of guys that are teaming up with other guys out there. So it's going to be an interesting mix out there.
Yeah, boys, I just had a quick chat to Chris Clark at BJR, and they're thinking that Andrew Jones has broken an axle, so they're bringing him straight into pit lane. So that's what they think is wrong with his car at the moment.
And that's a shame for Andrew. He is one of the guys who does this series full-time. He'll be with Jason Bright for Team BOC later on in the year at the Pertec Enduro Cup, but for now, it's Cam Waters from Mildura versus Ash Walsh from Ipswich. So a couple of regional centres with some local boys to support. Good field. 30 cars this weekend have made the trip to North Queensland. We've only got 29 now with Andrew Jones pulling off in the BJR car. But big field, 2-race format, 150 points on the line, and I hope none of them were watching the last V8 race, because if they were, stand back from the fence. It's going to get messy. So the revs rise. Waters and Walsh, they've come together once this year. Waters is out of the title fight. He's had some bad luck. He's going for race wins. Can Dumbrell get another one? Away we go. Race 1 of the weekend in round 4 of the Dunlop Series. Look at Dean Fiore. Goes to the grass. That's wild stuff. Walsh has got the jump. He will lead to turn 1, and Chris Pither's made a good jump too. Look at Waters going on with it. Walsh is in deep, deep, deep. They make it around turn 2, but do they all? It would appear so, but Walsh has got the lead.
Look, he does. Obviously, for him, it's all about championship. He wants to work on that championship lead and get away from Paul Dumbrell. I don't think PD have made the best of starts out there, but 29 laps, we've got a lot of racing ahead of us here. These guys need to settle down. Brilliant start by Steve Johnson, starting back in 8th place, already up to 5th on the road there. So he's had a cracking start. He'll be looking to move forward.
New colours there for Paul Morris. The Falcon is now blue with United Petroleum. Car off in the background as well. It's been a wild first lap.
Struggling to see exactly who that
and that's Aaron McGill, the most experienced man in
who's gone
the Dunlop Series. one of the ex-Kelly Racing Commodores, will rejoin down the back. So it's Ash Walsh who leads the way. That's Marcus Zukanovic putting a move on Ant Pedersen, who he was in a bit of drama earlier around the lap. He was running wide, and he's being shuffled further back down the order. Josh Keane here, the young gun from Adelaide, making a move. It won't stick, though.
Yeah,
Too deep.
These guys really need to start to get into a rhythm and settle down. And as we said, 29 laps, tyre degradation is going to be critical in the second half of this race. So it's important to make positions early on, but you've also got to be thinking about the longer part of the race. You've got to think about looking after those tyres and get yourself into a groove early on.
Oh, Josh Keane had the ripper of that car about to step out, but he did hang on to it. That car there, car number 12, is Macaulay Jones, Brad Jones's son. The dark blue Commodore, there it is just in front. So it's a big weekend for BJR. 3 cars in the main game, 3 cars in the Dunlop series. They've got plenty of staff here keeping busy. And Macaulay's working on his own car to keep it rolling along. This race has been shortened by 1 lap, so it's a 28-lap race, we're now being told from race control, because of that extra formation lap. I just had a Days of Thunder moment there. Drive through the smoke, Luffy.
Yeah, go high, Cole.
It's easy to kick up some dirt there. Out front, though, Ash Walsh leading away from Cam Waters. This is the fight just outside the top 10. It's not a long series, 7 rounds, 2 races at each weekend. So there's not much time to claw back margin, and there's going to be a separate qualifying session for tomorrow, so they have another chance. Let's have a look at the start. Walsh and Waters, it was pretty even. Pither made a really good jump. There's Dean Fiore going to the grass.
There's not much traction out there. I have tried that in the past. It doesn't work too well.
Works when you've got 4-wheel drive.
It does indeed.
Look at the background. One of the cars slow to get away. I think it was Aaron Tebb, possibly. Look, at one stage there, they were 5 wide on the run down to turn 1. Fastest man on the road is Andre Heimgartner. This is what happened to Aaron McGill.
Very easy in that opening lap. You got 2-3 wide through there, and being on the outside through there is never going to work. I'd say he's been given a little bit of a helping hand from behind, though.
I think you may be right there, but who it was, that's Dan Day just firing on through the gap there. Matt Hansen as well, but Aaron McGill did manage to get rolling again. But it's Walsh, Waters, Pither, Jacobson, Paul Dumbrell in 5th is setting fast sector times. This is a replay of Jack LeBrock and Josh Keane. And Jack loses.
Yeah, you move across the nose of someone like that under brakes, you're always going to come off second best.
And there's no room there to do a flick turn. He's had to back it up and get rolling. He's back to 28, back to the front. This is the fight. Ash Walsh driving for Matt Stone Racing, ex-Stone Brothers Ford, leading the points. Solid contender last year, runner-up to Dale Wood in this series. He's got an enduro drive. He's going to be back with Dick Johnson's team, driving with Scott Pye. There's Pither, there's Jacobson, Dumbrell, Stephen Johnson in a Wilson Security backed car, but it's not a Dick Johnson Racing run car. It's actually being run by Matt Stone Racing. Teammates to the leader, Ash Walsh. This is Keane, 12th, and Pedersen, the Kiwi, down the inside. Will he make the corner? Oh, Dean Fiore has a bump on the way through. That was all really messy from just about everybody.
Yeah. Fiore was the ultimate winner in all of that. And Pedersen has a little moment, runs wide, and Dean's like, thank you, I'll take 2 spots here.
Morgan Haber gets through. There's Frederick Lestrip, the Swede, trying to get a move on Dan Day. That was tight. Now, Frederick, we've talked about Robert Dahlgren being in the main championship with Volvo, but Frederick, he's flying backwards and forwards from Sweden to Australia for every Dunlop Series round, and he recently ran the Nürburgring 24-hour race, a race you know about. He's not in his Audi now, that's for sure.
No, definitely not. And I'm sure that Sweden and Townsville have got similar climates.
Not really. This is Josh Keane that we've seen a little bit of in this race. One of the ex-James Courtney Holden Racing Team cars, getting a little bit of help from Jeff Emery in the ex-Craig Lowndes car.
Jeff was actually my teammate at the last round of Carrera Cup, so he's having a good run.
Oh, look at this.
Not so good there, Jeffrey.
I'm not sure that's how he should have done that, but nevertheless, they've managed to get away with things. Here are the leaders, Walsh and Waters. They are the 4 men, and I talked about Waters earlier. His championship's taken a nosedive. He's 7th coming into the weekend. That driveline drama in Perth that took him out of a race. He had a clash with Walsh in Adelaide that caused him serious delays, so he's had bad luck come at the wrong times. But there's no doubt he's fast. He'll team with Jack Perkins in the Joe Gwen car for the Pertec Enduro Cup. He's a real young charger, and he's keeping the pressure on the series leader. We're underway in race 1 of 2 for the weekend for the Dunlop Series, but it's Walsh. He's out in front. He's got the lead, and he's looking good. the streets of Townsville with race 1 of the Dunlop Series, round 4 of the development category for V8s, and they'll be with us when the V8 Supercar Championship moves to the Coatsire Ipswich 400 at Queensland Raceway. Gilly Johnson will be there as well. There she is. She's been around, seen a lot of racing over the years, and her boy Stephen is behind the wheel. First time ever in the Dunlop Series for Steve, and he's driving for Matt Stone Racing this weekend in one of the ex-Stone Brothers cars, just getting the eye in before the Pertec Enduro Cup, where he'll be back in the family team, back in the famous number 17 Falcon with David Wall. And he's just relishing the opportunity to be back behind the wheel and driving. First time we've ever seen him in this category. Yeah, look, it's a great opportunity, and that's what we've seen over the years. A lot of guys are now coming back into the development series. It's a great way to sort of get some miles in the V8 Supercar. Whilst these are the older generation car, still the driving style is very similar to that of the car of the future. So that's why you see guys like Dean Fiore back there. Obviously, Paul Morris has been a long time sort of advocate for getting miles in the development series, and it all helps come Enduro time. 7 drivers in the field actually in this race are co-drivers for the Pertec Enduro Cup. Shortcut in the background there, that was Aaron Russell, who has triggered the timing loop behind. Finance Easy Ford here with Andre Heimgartner, the young Kiwi. Oh, Stevie J right front, he won't stop this. No, that's not gonna work. He doesn't want to barbecue that right front Dunlop because they only get 2 sets of tyres for the qualifying sessions and the 2 races, so that's why he's doing this, Stephen Johnson. That's why he's racing. He's a little bit rusty, hasn't raced a V8 since October last year, and that was with Erebus in the Mercedes team. You can see just early on, just got on the brakes a little bit too hard early on, just got that initial lock-up, and the problem is in those big braking areas, you get on it a little bit hard and get that early lock-up, and the chances of stopping it with a corner are very slim. But quick little snap turn down there, he's back underway, and again, it's a long race. There's still a lot more to go. May see a safety car at some point in time, so you've got to be in it. New colours here for Paul Morris. We've seen this Falcon be red. It's now blue with United backing. He runs position 10. That's Dean Fiore just in behind, who was with us earlier in the day calling the Carrera Cup race. You were busy driving in it. How are things travelling in that Porsche P2 today to Michael Patrizzi? What have you got for it tomorrow? Yeah, look, obviously it was a great result for us. Obviously, championship-wise, Richo finished 3rd, so we managed to extend that championship lead a little bit more. But look, we're gonna see if we can tune it up a little bit tonight. It wasn't probably the best it could have been out there. So yeah, look, we're having a great time. As I said, Townsville's a great event, and the Porsches around here, they're so much fun. They're really on fire. So it's yeah, we've got 2 races tomorrow. We'll see if we can do something about Michael out there. Fiore here trying to do something about Morris, and when he last tried this in Perth, he made some contact and got involved in a bit of drama, and he got a 3 grid position penalty for this weekend, for this round. So he qualified outside the 10, but he's working his way forward. Marcus Jukanovic is next in the queue in that blue Falcon, another of the Ford Performance Racing cars, but out front it's still Ash Walsh who leads the way, 6/10 of a second back to Cam Waters. And for Morris, he's another guy who'll be in the Enduros. He'll be with Chaz Mostert in the Pepsi Max crew car, so he's just getting ready, hence why he's repainted his car blue. It makes sense. Well, exactly, and that's why for the first time you see Paul driving a Ford this year. Obviously with the allegiance with FPR, it's important for him to get comfortable in one of their style of cars, so he's made the transition. He was a long time Holden man, and now driving for the Blue Oval. This is a big move here. This is Paul McKinnon, who's making his Dunlop Series debut. Had a move there on Tim Macro, but couldn't get it done. Aaron Tebb changed the gearbox in that car before this race, but up front, that's Jack LeBrock carving his way back through the traffic. Tim Macro there in the black car. This is the Dragon Motor Racing team. They're new this year to the Dunlop Series. That's one of the old PWR cars. They've applied for wildcard entries for the Enduros with the ex-Gary Rogers Commodores that Scott McLaughlin and Alex Prema drove last year, so we may see an extra couple of cars on the grid for Bathurst later in the end. I think they've applied for 2 wildcards also for Sandown as well, so we'll wait and see. Mark Winterbottom's not having a good day. He's going to have to start again from a low grid position in the 2nd race for the Castrol Townsville 500 a little bit later on. Doesn't look thrilled with the world right now. Not overly, but I'm sure from Craig Lowndes' perspective, he'd rather be finishing where Mark did in that race. And for these guys, you just got to keep thinking about that championship position. Oh, this is Frederick Lestrop off the road. He will get this Cooper side. 1. Oh, he made it through the 2nd. I thought there was another one going there. But it's covered the front end, so he needs to shake that loose to keep some cool air into the brake ducts. There's Fiore. He's got by Morris. That's for 10. Fiore will be with Michael Caruso for the Norton Hornets later on in the year. So we've got 7 co-drivers in the Dunlop series. We've got another one of them here in the commentary box because Warren Luff will be alongside Garth Tander for the Holden Racing team this year. I think there's a bit of a question there. You were with Red Bull, you were with Lounsey, and then you weren't. I think that caught a lot of people by surprise.
Yeah, look, it probably caught a few people by surprise, but look, it's great to be at the factory Holden team, and look, Garth had a great run earlier today. It was probably a little bit unlucky. It's probably one of the few times you see someone get taken out twice in the one race and still makes it to the podium. So, look, the guys are really starting to get some good speed out of those cars. It's been a huge development push. There's obviously been a lot of personnel changes there over the last sort of 6 months. So some really good fresh ideas coming in there, and they're really starting to get it together now, and you can see that by qualifying today. Both cars on the front row, great for the red guys. Race wasn't so good for JC, but those guys will fight back in the next one.
Talking about fighting, this is where the fight's at here. These two have cleared away. They've got a nice margin back to Chris Pither, who's doing a really good job in that Ice Break Coffee Commodore. That's one of the Brad Jones cars. Waters using lots of curb there. Young guy who gets his go at the Enduro Cup this year, but he has done Bathurst before. Remember, he won the Shannon Supercar Showdown a couple of years ago, got absolutely thrown in the deep end up at Bathurst, and it was a real baptism of fire, but his pedigree is very good, Cam Waters. Formula 4 champ from a couple of years ago, but it's Ash Walsh, the Dunlop Series leader, who could extend that margin. We're approaching half race distance, and the young Queenslander, he's out in front. They are the class of the field. No one's near them. We'll keep running here in Townsville in just a sec. Location, location, location. We've got it today. The Super Street part of the V8 Supercars Championship has brought us to the Castrol Townsville 500s, driven by TAFE Queensland this year. What a good part of the world. I tell you what, where I'm from at the moment, down south, there's none of that going on. But what is going on at the moment, the safety car is on the road here with the Dunlop Series, because we've had a little drama with Paul McKinnon, the rookie in one of the R-Sport Engineering Commodores, one of the old Gary Rogers cars, has just bumped the wall. He's got away with it and moved again, but he's left a souvenir.
Yep. Front splitter in the middle of the track, not so good for the rest of the field. Here's a quick little action replay.
Just lost the rear, small little mistake. Tim Macro's nearly done the same. Aaron Tebb clips the team car on the way through, pops it off the front, and it's a souvenir in the middle of the road.
What do they say the golden rule of racing is? You don't crash with your teammate.
Well, it wasn't much of a crash. He's just clipped him on the way through, caused a bit of damage to his own car, and that's left some debris. So hence why the safety car's out. Bad news for Walsh and Waters. They've lost 5 seconds, which they've built over Chris Pither in the Ice Break Coffee Commodore. And that brings it all to something of a slowdown. But for Ash Walsh, he's on target here to grab a win. He's looked quite strong. Waters has looked pacey, and they look like they're in a field of their own, really.
They certainly did, but as you said, the bad thing for Ash Walsh is it also brings Paul Dumbrell back into the equation. It gets him that little bit closer to the front, so let's see what happens on the restart.
Safety car's out. We'll take another little break. Make sure you stick with us, though. Restart in just a sec. To race pace, the Dunlop Series is rolling again. We've got a green flag here in Townsville, and the restart is close for Gary Jacobson, who very nearly got the back of Chris Pither, but it opens the door for his teammate, the Gear Wrench Commodore of Paul Dumbrell, to pick up 4th spot. Stephen Johnson here making the move on young Todd Hazelwood. We've just gone past halfway. Safety car's been on the road for a couple of laps. It's tightened the field up, and this is going to give us a pretty quick run home. Ash Walsh, the points leader, leads the way and stands Warren Luff to move almost a full race clear if he stays where he is.
Yeah, look, obviously he's going to be wanting to think about that championship now. Probably the only person that doesn't like a safety car is the race leader. So when he saw those safety car boards come out, he would not have been happy. But the thing is, it brings everyone back into the equation now. We've seen Paul Dumbrell already make one position out there. He's very quickly going to want to move onto the back of Chris Pither and just keep getting points and try and sort of reduce that margin that Ash Walsh has already got. As we spoke about before, obviously he missed out on the Sunday races at Perth, so he can't afford to give away too many more points. And obviously there's also Cameron Waters. He hasn't had the best of runs in the championship so far. He's certainly had the speed, but here he's really going to want to try and prove a point and get out there in front.
He's a young guy that FPR are really, really happy with. Oh, Josh Keane looped it at the final turn. He's been involved in a bit today. That drops him back to 25th in that ex-James Courtney HRT car. So Walsh, though, cold tyres clearing away. Pither is going with Cam Waters, and this could be Pither's best ever run in the Dunlop series. He's been in and out of the series a couple of times over the years. He's engineered by Paul Forgy. Many remember for his work with Marcus Ambrose. You had a little stint there as well. Did you bring your balaclava today?
Mate, I carry 5 of them everywhere I go these days. But look, as you said, it's a fantastic run out there for Chris Pither. Obviously, being run out of the BJR team has had sort of limited success in the past in the development series, but today he's really showing what he can do out there.
Just picking up here to Warren on Andre Heimgartner, won the last race at Barbagallo, young Kiwi driving for Matthew White's team. Now, he's a young guy who's been linked with a team that a bit of news came out this week over across the Dutch in New Zealand with Super Black Racing, one of the teams that has applied for a wildcard entry for the Enduros for Bathurst with the plan of an FPR-run car. Paul Radisich, the Kiwi legend, is reportedly involved in this with some business connections to New Zealand, and Andre is a driver linked to driving that car. So we'll wait to see what unfolds with that over the course of the next couple of weeks. It'll be great to see a couple of wildcards added to the Enduros, particularly to the Super Cheap Auto Bathurst 1000. We have seen them before, and he's a young guy with a lot of talent and ability. I reckon this is the Josh Keane replay, and Macaulay Jones was next on the scene. Whether he was contributing or not is hard to tell, but he was next one through. But look at the margin. Ash Walsh is pushing clear. He is really looking the goods this year. He's done a couple of years with Matt Stone Racing, a couple of years with the engineering group, a couple of years with the hardware, and it's all starting to show. Look at Morris dive bombing Marcus Zukanovic.
That's a big look down the inside, and will he make it stick though?
Oh, not here.
Zukanovic gets a run. Around the outside is not where you want to be through this corner.
And that was tight too for Ant Pedersen. He was trying to cover Haber, who in turn is going to get them all. He'll either hit them or pass them. He hits them. Oh, awkward.
That was a little bit clumsy. Ant Pedersen probably thought it was a great move.
He thought it was awesome. Haber's parked. Jack LeBrock's down the escape road. So just when we thought we'd used all the action in the first race for the main championship. Oh, Dan Day's off as well. No one read the script. Garth Tander thinks it's hilarious.
Hey, Garth, give us a wave.
Dan Day's another of the youngsters who's joined the series this year. That's the ex-Nick Percat car from a couple of years ago. And there's damage to the dude. The United Ford is injured. Left front would be busted. Right front is busted, I should say. Morgan Haber, who was the bustee, or the buster. Oh, I'm lost.
Yeah.
Buster, yeah.
A little bit ambitious down there, but it all started
here.
It all started here. Dude gets a great run on Marcus. It was a good move, but couldn't quite make it stick on the exit there. Marcus gets a great run back down the inside, and from here it just all goes pear-shaped.
So Ant Pedersen in that Commodore next, he gets across the cover. Haber still lunges. He's on the dirty stuff. Zukanovic's having a look. There's no chance that Morgan can stop here without the use of another car. Or two.
Yeah, and poor old Marcus Zukanovic down the outside there just didn't see that one coming, and yeah, bit of average driving there.
It just won't stop. Zukanovic out wide. Pedersen drives past a lot of them. So does Jeff Emery, and they haven't all been able to clear that zone. So the safety car returns to the road. So Ash Walsh's little jump at the restart comes to nothing. And we'll do it all over again. So Dan Day's off in the Street Fighter Commodore. It is a street fight, that's for sure. We'll get it all cleaned up and get a restart when we come back. Well, we're bunched up. We're ready to go again. The safety car's been doing some laps today in Townsville, and we're going to get a finish to this Dunlop Series race. It will be a short, sharp sprint to the line because we will be on a time-certain finish. So Ash Walsh is backing them up. He's going to go when he wants to go on the exit here. Green flag's flying. The points leader will lead us back to the control line. Couple of minutes of racing left on the clock, and he's made a nice re-jump. He's got a good little jump on Cam Waters, but it's been Chris Pither. The Ice Break Coffee Commodore started from 5th. He sits in 3rd. I don't think he's got the pace to go with these two Fords, but if they make a meal of it, he's ready to collect, and Waters is in deep at turn 2.
He is. Watch Chris Pither duck back to the inside. It will be a drag race down to turn 3. That doesn't help when you get it lit up like that.
No, he was really keen to crack the throttle open and drive it up the inside, but a little dirty on the inside there, so lost out. Big winner, those Walsh. He's pushed clear on the restarts in this race. 150 points on the line. He's 104 clear of Paul Dumbrell coming into this race. Dumbrell sits in 4th. He's driving for Eggleston Motorsport in Casey Stoner's car from last year to get his eye in for when he lines up with Jamie Whincup later on in the season, but Walsh, he looks the goods. This has really been a strong statement, and there's some good gear behind him from some good teams.
Yeah, certainly is. But look, as you said, I'm really impressed with Chris Pith. I'll tell you who else is having a great run out there is Aaron Russell back there in 7th. Small little family-run team. Those guys do it on a shoestring budget, and here he is up there right behind Andre Heimgartner. So full credit to he and the team.
And the funny thing is, he's in front of Stephen Johnson. That's Stevie's old Jim Beam car from a couple of years ago. He knows it very, very well. That black Ford there with Aaron Russell at the helm, runs in 7th at the moment. Love this speed shot. Flat chat through turn 1. Then hard under brakes for 2. And that wall is a little different because it does curve back around.
It certainly does, and I can tell you now, being in the Porsche on the left-hand side of it, it gets really close out there, so it's not much fun, actually.
Walsh is clearing away. He's on target to rack up another race win. He's had good form so far this year.
Paul Dumbrell certainly starting to show some speed late in the race, but maybe I think he's left his run a little bit too late because Chris Pith has also got some
Josh
speed.
Keen's added to the highlight reel today. Clips Jim Pollicino on the way through. Tim Macro's already parked there. Supervised to survive and turn right without spearing into someone probably helps as well. Oh, Tim Macro, that car is chewed up. This is the Dragon Motor Racing team from Melbourne. That's the old PWR super cheap car. It's an old car. They've got a GRM car that Sam Walter drove last year that they're hoping to get on the road soon. Christian Lindbaum is another driver that is part of this squad. They've got big, ambitious plans. But the next plan they need is to fix that car because it's busted up.
Yeah, look, those guys are even making some movement about trying to join the main game for next year. So I think it'll be interesting to see where they end up. But look at Dumbrell. He's really he wants that 3rd place. He's got to try and reduce that points gap to Ash Walsh. Every position is going to be a big benefit to him.
Jack Perkins has got a damaged Gelwin Ford. I know he'd be thrilled to see his Enduro partner Cam Waters having a great run, but for the moment, his focus is right there on that 18 car, which is really badly damaged from that crash with Todd Kelly in the previous race. But Dumbrell, yeah, you're right, he does look strong late on this race. He's had a couple of wins this year. He won in Adelaide when Walsh and Waters got together. He was more convincing at Perth when he won on the Saturday. But Walsh is doing a really nice job out in front. But yeah, Pither, this is the ex-Fabian Coulthard Lockwood car from a couple of years ago. Still lives at Brad Jones Racing. And they've got, as we mentioned earlier, a massive project with 6 cars across 2 categories. Counting down to the end of this race. Last year we had 3 races and they were a little bit shorter. Time soon finished, so this will be the final lap. We'll be a couple short because of a couple of safety car appearances. Oh, Walsh is in really deep at turn 2. All that margin that he had, he'll be okay because he can drive it straight off that corner. But Waters' eyes would have lit up there to see that infant's friend Ford running wide. It gives him a sniff.
It certainly does. And for Waters now, it's all about trying to set himself up and get a run down at turn 11. If he can stay on the back of him, get a good run through 8 and 9, it's going to be his last chance to have a lunge. So Ash Walsh has made things a little bit hard for himself here. He needs to be really clean through this part of the circuit. Cam Waters, he's got the lights on. He's got his eyes on. Will he be able to get a good run? A clean run out of here is going to be the key.
I reckon Walsh has really regained the rhythm now from that little slip up at turn 2. He's on his way home. This little corner here brought him undone a couple of years ago when he was on target for his first ever podium in the Dunlop Series, but he's stepped it up since then. Had a little bit of a slip up. He's just got to get this final turn right. He's a left turner, but I mean, correct. Oh, Waters! He's going to have a go. He unloads him right in front of the checkered flag. And now Jacobson plows in. Waters will win the race. But I can't see him keeping the result. No. So Chris Pither stands to potentially gain a win. Walsh is in drama. Jacobson's in drama. Oh, that wasn't in the plan.
No, that certainly wasn't. Ash needs to get to the finish line. He's still got to try and score some points. I think he'll
get 16th at that rate, but wouldn't mind having a look at that again. Cam Waters having a dive at the last turn, contact with the points leader.
And that all started back at turn 2. That little mistake by Ash Walsh, it gave Cameron Waters a sniff, and he thought he was in the hunt there. I think it was a bit of an ambitious move to have a lunge at the last corner like that.
So here is how they've actually finished the race. Cam Waters has crossed the line as the winner. We'll put an asterisk next to that one. Barks is going to be busy, isn't he? Gee, it's going to be a long night. Pither second, Dumbrell third from Heimgartner. Aaron Russell, Stevie Johnson and Pedersen rounded out the top 10, but Walsh did get to the line. In fact, he was 19th. We'll have a talk to our race winner when we come back to Townsville. I reckon we've got a bit to ask him. Cam Waters gets the checkered flag, a dramatic final lap in the Dunlop Series opening race of the weekend. Perfect weather, the Castrol Townsville 500 driven by TAFE Queensland has been a winner again with the V8 Supercars Championship. It's all about families, kids. There's plenty of GA admission areas to really enjoy the North Queensland sun. Plenty to eat. Do a little bit of driving your own. Beat a bit of Dodgem car racing on the track today, it must be said, as well as in the Dodgem car area. Here are the points in the Dunlop Series after the race that's just been completed. You'll notice that the numbers look different. Ash Walsh has had his lead trimmed to 17. There has been a post-race penalty applied immediately post-race. Cam Waters has been pinged for this move on the last corner of the race. Having a dive at Ash Walsh, makes contact with the series leader, spins him around. He crossed the line as the winner, but a PLP, a pit lane penalty post-race was applied. He finishes 21st. That is unbelievable how Gary Jacobson's ended up and stopped. But Rihanna's with our new winner.
Wow, congratulations, Chris Pither. I've run from Ash Walsh to Cameron Waters to yourself. You got out of the car. Everyone said, oh, shame, mate, you're nearly there. But you actually won this race. Well done.
Honestly, can't believe it, you know, that the icebrake holding is better than it's ever been. We've been making steady progress all year, and I was happy sitting there in third, you know. It's going to be good points, and next minute they've had a bit of an altercation at the last corner, and I've picked up the pieces, so I can't thank the icebrake racing crew enough, and, you know, everyone that's helped me over the years. It's my first supercar win, so it's a pretty special moment.
You said it was pretty tricky. You had to make a decision which way to go, and you made the right call.
Yeah, I did. Like, I was pretty close to Ash when he went round, and I didn't know which way I was going to spin, so I just tried to pull it up a little bit further, managed to get through on the inside, and I was hoping to get a run at Cam too. In hindsight, it didn't make any difference, but obviously there's a lot of people that aren't here this weekend that helped me out over the years, and I'd like to especially thank them. Cheers.
Enjoy this one. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can see that means a lot. Former V8 Ute champ picks up his first race win in the Dunlop Series. Talking about first race wins, Erebus Motorsport had theirs at Winton Motor Raceway with this man, Lee Holdsworth, in the number 4 Mercedes. We're counting down to race 21 of the championship. Let's take you back to Winton and how it unfolded.
2013 was really, really tough. A driver carries a lot of influence in the workshop and in a race team that it's really difficult to keep getting beaten down, but keep a high head, keep your chin up and press on and keep positive.
In the sand at turn 6.
We came out with a much better car this year and we're able to capitalise on it far earlier in the season than what we actually thought we'd get it. You know, I got my first podium with Erebus, I got my first race win, and there were 2 things that I needed to tick off the list and get the monkey off my back, which had been there for quite some time, and on the team's back, I suppose, as well.
And Lee Holdsworth drives into the history books.
To get rid of that was a massive relief. I think I told Ryan, the CEO, I said, Ryan, I just want to go home tonight and party, because this is the best feeling I've had in a very long time, and probably the most emotional moment, and I'll never ever forget it.